Welcome back, everyone. Back here again. You know what? I was noticing on our short video, we never did introductions. So
we didn't.
Which is kind of funny. I'm Christopher Brannon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator for Northeast Kansas Library System.
And as you can see, we're doing reminders about the upcoming conference for the the Koha US annual conference, which is in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, September 20th through the 23rd. Find out all about that on the koha-us.org website. Today, we're going to be talking about, or actually George is going to be sharing, and I'm going to be asking questions and salivating over all the knowledge that this man gives to me and to all of us. But he's going to be talking about some CSS tools. If you're doing some adjustments on your website or to other sites or to Koha, he's got some great tools to help make those adjustments a little bit easier. But before we get into that, here's a little bit about Koha US.
This video is sponsored by Koha US, your place to look for all things Koha. Whether you're just starting out with Koha, or you've been with Koha for a while, Koha US is a great place to find resources, learn new tips and techniques, or connect with other users and libraries. Koha US provides excellent information, both original and curated from around the internet, including the terrific Every Other Day training videos. You will also find several special interest groups to connect with, as well as our general monthly meeting where we gather to talk about the latest Koha news. You should also check out the Koha US annual conference, held at various locations around the US. This is a great opportunity to meet with other users face-to-face, and build your Koha network, as well as new friendships. And of course, don't forget about the great presentations. Koha US is also actively involved in the Koha community by contributing towards new developments. If you are interested in contributing towards Koha US funded developments, join the Koha US membership. Your annual membership builds the funds to sponsor new developments in the community, and as a member, you also help shape Koha US with your membership votes, and receive a discount on the annual conference. You can also contribute towards developments through a direct donation, or by purchasing some great Koha US merchandise through our Threadless account. Visit us at koha-us.org to find out more.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about some tools that I've been using to do some work on Koha. It's so we're actually not going to be talking about Koha so much as some browser extensions. The new version of Koha is a major change to the staff interface and the way it looks. And this is what it kind of looks like out of the box.
Except for the logo, I would say.
Except for the logo, yeah, I have got a custom logo up here, which I'm doing differently than I used to do the logo, because I used to have a big logo. Now it fits in that tiny little space up there. But one of the things that I was concerned about initially when this change was first talked about, the search bar was going to be up here in the middle of the header. And my concern about that, and a lot of people's concern, was it was going to be hard for people to read, and I think there's still some issues with that. So I wanted to make some changes to the way that Koha looks. And one of the things I was concerned about was the way that it looks to people that might have visual impairments. And so I've been trying to look for things that can help me see what it would look like. A lot of my initial work was done based on guesswork and based on reading, but then Jason from Southeast Kansas Library actually talked about an extension on the Chrome browser called Colorblindly. And unfortunately, it's not available on Firefox, and I mostly work with Firefox. And I was able to find one, though. I I loaded up Chrome and I downloaded Colorblindly, and then I was able to find one that's very similar in the way that it looks and works in Firefox. And it's called A11Y Color Blindness Empathy Test. And I've got it up here as a browser add-on. And if you click on it and then click on the different names here, these are all names for different types of color blindness. I don't remember what they all are, but the type of color blindness that people have generally depends on a misdistribution of cones in your eyes. You have more cones that read one color. The three colors that the cones in your eyes read are red, blue, and green. And some people have more cones that read blue than the other two colors. Usually it's an absence of one color is what causes it.
Interesting.
And the distribution of the way the colors, which color you can see more of and which one you can see less of determines what kind of color blindness you have. But if you select this first option, it shows you what this would look like to somebody with protanopia. And one of the things that's really hard to see are when you hover over the search buttons, there's almost no difference between hovering over them and not hovering over them.
Right.
You can see the submit button next to the input box. It changes color, but the change is so subtle to somebody with this type of vision impairment. And these just give you a good way of looking at things through other people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I use this a lot with the work that we're going to be showing off in the next video, because I wanted to find ways to make changes to the look of Koha and to bring in different colors that match our Next Search Catalog logo. But I also wanted to make them in such a way that it was going to make it easier for people that might have vision problems to see. So that's a good one I recommend. If you're using Firefox, like I said, it's A11Y Color Blindness Empathy Test. The one that I've heard recommended, not just by Jason, but by other people, is Colorblindly if you're using Google Chrome.
Right.
And I'm going to put this back on none. So the other thing, that's a good one for once you're actually looking in there and seeing what it is, the changes that you might be making, how they're going to look to somebody with visual impairments. There's another add-on that I've been using for years and years and years called Greasemonkey. And Greasemonkey I've got up here in my browser. And, occasionally I will want to add, if I'm creating some jQuery for Koha or some JavaScript changes, I can create those in Greasemonkey. I can start a new user script and create jQuery that can be applied not just to Koha, but to any website. And I often use it to work on something so that I can work on it without having to go to a system preference in Koha, enter the jQuery, save it, and then go back and reload the page. I can just do it in Greasemonkey, and then only the page reload is required. But it's a good way to kind of experiment. I still have the Greasemonkey add-on. Greasemonkey is no longer supported by the people that originally wrote it, and the new version is called Tampermonkey, and I've just never upgraded because there are a couple of things about Tampermonkey I didn't like. But one example of how I use Greasemonkey and how it can be used beyond Koha is I have this, whenever I send a RT ticket into Bywater Solutions, our service provider, our Koha support provider in Neckles, I'm always trying to remember there's to add a CC on those tickets to one of my coworkers. And so this is a sample script What I can do though with it is I've got this script set up so that whenever I create a new ticket, instead of having to remember to add that CC into a new ticket, Greasemonkey just does it for me.
Nice.
So every time I go to create a new support ticket with Bywater Solutions, it just automatically fills in the CC and then moves my cursor into the subject line, so that I don't even have to think about it anymore. But Greasemonkey can do a lot of things like that. There's a website, a political website I visit often, where they always asking for donations, and I never donate. And their annoying pop-up that comes up that says, "Don't forget to donate money to us." Greasemonkey kills that for me, so I never even have to think about donating money to them.
Very nice.
So yeah, Greasemonkey and Tampermonkey, those are the two though that you can use to experiment in Koha with jQuery without actually adding it to your Koha. And another thing I do with it is there are some things that only I do in Koha. So instead of taking up space in the Internet User JS system preference, I can create a script that only I use. That way I don't have to inflict it on other people.
Nice.
The other one is called Stylus, and Stylus is like Tampermonkey and Greasemonkey, but for JavaScript. And so I've got right now, I've got 4 Stylus interfaces set up for using with my test server. So let's say, and I've got some stuff in here right now. I've got it called Sandbox. So here's one that I can show off really easily. First, I'm going to disable the sandbox in Stylus. I'm going to turn it off so it's not active. But I'm going to do a patron search for Frosty, because I know that Frosty is a testing only name. No, there's no actual person in Kansas named Frosty as far as I know. So I know all these patrons are just samples. So I've got, I'm logged in Northeast Kansas Library System, and I've got some Frosty. I got a Frosty at Winchester and a Frosty at Atchison. Let me go back up here and turn on my sandbox. And so what I did there, what I've got is I've got code in my Stylus for this page. And I'm using something that I don't have turned on here. So I've got this code that what it's doing is it's CSS, and each of these, when you're logged in at the library you're logged in at, when you do a patron search and the patrons have those home library, there's a class that surrounds that home library name. And so what I've got Stylus doing for me is it's adding CSS wherever the member search results page has the class of current library. It's changing the background color to pink. It's putting some padding on that element. It's adding a border radius. It's changing the font size and the font weight. And if I kill that, if I take that out of my Stylus box, it's not there anymore. So this is a way of really easily, usually I have Stylus open in one window and Koha open in the other window. And this allows me to write CSS changes without having to go to the Internet User CSS system preference and put those in there. So it's a way of letting me create the CSS and write the CSS temporarily. And then when I perfect it, then I can take it out of Stylus and save it in my Internet User CSS system preference when it's ready to be permanent on the system.
It's particularly helpful if you don't have a test server. You can test
Yeah.
your live data and not risk injuring anything, unless you're doing some sort of input that could potentially screw something up.
Yeah, which doesn't really happen in CSS. So
Not in CSS, but if you're
but in
doing
jQuery, yeah.
the Greasemonkey, yeah.
Yeah. So that has been really helpful in the work that I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, trying to get the new version of Koha branded in next search catalog colors.
Nice.
The pink is a choice that I just put on here as an example. Pink is not going to be what people see. The last thing I wanted to show everybody is that there's this Venngage as an accessible color palette generator. And this is where I've been coming a lot to figure out what colors I wanted to use as I'm going forward with trying to come up with some brand colors to fit into Koha. So, this blue 1F9BDE is the blue in the next search catalog logo. And so if I put it in here into this Venngage accessible color palette generator and then click on generate, it gives colors, it gives you a set of colors that are similar, that are in that same color family, that if you put these next to each other, they're easy for people with vision impairments to see the differences between these colors.
Okay.
I've kind of been working with the monochromatic palette, and I've kind of used that 1FD9BDE as like my medium color. And then I've been using this as a light color, and this is a dark color. Or excuse me, no, I haven't been using that one as a dark color. What I did to get a dark color was I came back to our logo and I took the color off of the X. And then I put that in here. And that's been my dark color. And that's been a color to contrast with that.
So if you're working with a set of colors, you can't do that.
Not with this one.
Okay.
There are a couple out there. This is the one that I used because it was the easiest for me to work with, and it got me the results that I wanted.
Okay.
There are others. There are a couple of them where you can give it multiple colors, and it'll give you back a spectrum of what works with that. My biggest concern with what I was doing was accessibility, and so this is the one that I felt worked the best for what I was trying to accomplish.
Right. So what are the numbers that are on the bottom of each color next to where it says black text, white text? What are those numbers on the other opposite corner?
That's the contrast level.
Okay.
So it's a ratio of the difference. I'm not sure. It's a scientific measurement, and I'm not sure what the formula is to generate it. But the difference between the background and the text is, in this case, is 6.85 to 1. And the difference in this one, the contrast is 10.92 to 1.
Okay.
And the recommendation for making it easier on people's eyes, if I remember correctly, it was somewhere around 5. That had to, if it was over 5, you had a good contrast to make it easier on people's eyes. And so all of the, well, I went the wrong direction there. Let me pull that one back up. There we go. So, the contrast that I was looking for was in the anything above 5. I felt like it was a good contrast. So, and I was able to build all of my colors, all of the ones I wanted with, that's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. I was able to get good contrast, I felt, with these colors, particularly on the light color. The light blue with the black text is 13.9. So I was happy with the way these turned out for me.
Yeah.
So those are some tools. I gave Christopher all of the website information on where to find these tools if anybody's interested in going out and looking at them. And in the next video, you know, I've got all these tools. I'll show you what I did with them. I'll show you how I completely broke Koha to get it to do what I wanted it to do. Well, we'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks everyone for visiting, and remember, you can always view our videos on our website at koha-us.org, or you can visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/koha-us, no dash, and there you can subscribe to our playlist. So if you're interested in any time we post our videos, you can be notified when those videos post. You can also make comments, and you can like. And one of the things I hear people saying a lot lately is smash that like button. So smash that like button. Let us know that you like our videos. And with that, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.